Millions of Americans went to the polls Tuesday to decide governor's races, several mayor races, and a host of local issues. The most closely watched governor's races are in Virginia, where the White House campaigned heavily for former Democratic National Committee Chairman Terry McAuliffe, and in New Jersey, where the size of victory for incumbent Chris Christie is being watched as a measure of his White House potential. Also, a U.S. House runoff in Alabama is being watched as a test between the GOP establishment and the Tea Party movement. Mike Zapler is political editor for Politico.com and joins us via Skype to talk about these key races. Mike, thank you so much for being with us. We do appreciate it. Can you hear us? Mike Zapler, this is Debbie Turner-Bell from Arise America. Are you there?
I am here, yes.
Okay, I can hear you.
Okay.
I can't see you yet, but I can hear you. Well, let's just get started with the New Jersey governor's race. This will not be a close race. It seems pretty certain that Governor Chris Christie, the incumbent, is going to maintain his seat at the state capitol. What does this mean for him in a potential presidential bid 3 years from now?
Well, Chris Christie is going to romp the re-election. It's just a question of how much he wins by. His goal here is, a 20, 30-plus point win. He wants to make inroads among minority voters to show that Republicans have broader appeal than Mitt Romney showed last year. So if he could run up the margins here, as a Republican in a very blue state, he thinks that will show the party the way for 2016, that he's the kind of guy who can bring voters who don't traditionally vote with Republicans, or at least haven't lately, into the fold.
And, there have been a number of situations that Governor Chris Christie has found himself in that has caused many to speculate about his presidential aspirations, including such a reportedly chummy relationship with President Barack Obama. Go through some of the things that Christie has done of late that would indicate that he is trying to position himself for a national stage.
Well, after the Hurricane Sandy disaster last year, President Obama came to the state, toured around with Christie. They even hugged at one point, and that was an image that really resonated with a lot of people across the political spectrum. I think for Democrats in his state, they looked at it, as a guy who's basically just willing to take care of business, put partisanship aside. And it really helped propel him this year in his re-election campaign. Republicans in his party, they took umbrage at what he did last year. They thought that he went overboard with his embrace of Obama, that it hurt Mitt Romney at the end of the election. And so he does have some wounds to heal there if he ends up running in 2016. But as far as his ambitions, he's left no doubt that he's going to pivot very soon toward a 2016 campaign. Whether it's kind of the way he's run his campaign this year, or the conversations he's had with party bigwigs, there's no doubt that Chris Christie is looking toward a national campaign.
Yeah, in fact, many have even speculated the fact that he had bariatric surgery. He says it was for his health, but many speculated that was additional proof that he had his eye on the White House. Let me turn the corner a little bit. Let's talk about the Virginia governor's race. Of course, this is Terry McAuliffe, who's been campaigning against Ken Cuccinelli. Terry McAuliffe is a big hitter in the Democratic Party, friends of the Clintons. In fact, both Bill and Hillary Clinton campaigned for him, as well as President Barack Obama. Also understand that he had a lot of money to spend as well. So is there any chance that he's not going to win this election?
It's pretty slim, unless every public poll is wrong. McAuliffe is going to win tonight. He has raised a ton of money. He is a professional fundraiser, one of the best ever. And so he's racked up a huge war chest. Cuccinelli has not. His Republican opponent, Ken Cuccinelli, who's the Attorney General of the state, has really struggled with fundraising. So in the final weeks of the campaign, it's just been like 3 or 4 ads for McAuliffe to every one for Cuccinelli. And that just makes it really hard to compete. And it looks like McAuliffe is going to use that cash advantage to try to motivate voters. The key challenge really for him is just to make sure that enough Democratic voters turn out. Typically, there's a big drop-off after a presidential election the following year. He just wants to make sure that that drop-off is too steep.
Yes. I want to quickly talk about the electorate, the state of Virginia in general. It has historically been a red state, particularly with big and national elections. Of course, President Obama carried it in both of his elections. So can we safely call Virginia now purple or even blue?
I think after tonight, if you see the Democrats sweep all of these statewide offices, which looks likely, and they have both senator seats. You have President Obama winning the state twice in a row. It is clearly at least a purple state and arguably tilting in the Democratic column.
Let's quickly move on to this House race in Alabama, where it actually is 2 Republicans running against one another, a more traditional Republican and then a Tea Party candidate. What does this race say about the state of the Republican Party, at least there in Alabama?
Well, it's a pretty interesting race. Like you say, it's a Republican primary. It's a Republican seat. And basically you have these 2 candidates. One represents kind of the business establishment wing of the Republican Party, a guy by the name of Bradley Byrne. He's running against a Tea Party guy who has said some really incendiary things about gays. And the establishment is kind of freaking out that this guy, Dean Young is his name, could pull off an upset here. But basically, you have these 2 warring camps of the party that's been playing out in Congress all year with the government shutdown and the debt ceiling standoff. And this race has kind of become a stand-in for that larger battle.
All right, we'll leave the conversation right there. I know you're going to be busy all day long. Mike Zapler, thank you so much.
Thank you.
The off-year U.S. elections are mostly about picking local leaders. There are 312 contests today for mayors, including in big cities like New York, Boston, Detroit, Atlanta, and Miami. And in New York, Laura Matthew Leger reports that Bill de Blasio is on course to become the first Democrat in 20 years to lead the nation's largest city.
Democrat Bill de Blasio is a crusading liberal whose progressive message has pushed him from underdog to frontrunner. He takes the stage with his closest ally, wife Sherilyn McRae.
We need a Mayor de Blasio.
Yeah! She and the couple's biracial children, Kiara and Dante, have featured heavily in the campaign ads. De Blasio's cool Brooklyn dad vibe and modern family lifestyle has earned him brownie points from voters all over the city.
This is the first time in my life that I ever support a mayoral candidate for mayor. You know, and I'm excited about this. It's time for progressive New York, and I'm ready what I call a new New York.
In this new New York, de Blasio vows to make a clean break after 12 years of Michael Bloomberg's leadership.
We had an uncompromising progressive vision that spoke to a fairness that people had not felt for a long time, and we're waiting to feel again.
His signature proposal is to raise taxes on the rich to fund a universal pre-kindergarten program. He also wants to boost affordable housing and end police stop-and-frisk practices. Bill de Blasio is no stranger to politics. He's been a member of the New York City Council since 2002, is currently the city's public advocate, and was Hillary Clinton's campaign manager during her Senate race in 2000. He benefited from the early backing of several public figures and celebrities.
I support Bill de Blasio.
I think that we'll have a sense return to New York that it's government by the people and for the people.
With a solid 45-point lead in the polls over Republican rival Joe Lhota, Bill de Blasio could win this mayoral race by a historical margin.